I should have taken care of this yesterday already, but alright, I'm gonna do it today. This one is related to, yeah, you guessed it. This one is related to, again, Charles Windsor, what people refer to as a King Charles. He's not going to be happy about this one. Well, nobody gives a fuck about whether he is happy or he's not happy or whatever the case might be. I'm not here to cover up for these people anymore. Look, I started a very important subject here on. Here's a picture from Trieste in 1975, daily life in psychiatric hospital patients during excursion. The two guys that I met, two guys definitely I met. It's also what Joe Biden wanted to know everything about these guys, but then at the same time he dared me about timing pertaining to the Trieste, as per where I was I there or was I not? They were setting a heavy time blocks, like a roadblock you would have. It's a time block. This is a time block. Dare you to even think about that you were in a Trieste. Josip Broz Tito and such stuff. That's something unimaginable for my circumstances I was in to even contemplate on. This is a very bad video for your British King Charles and your royal elites, but to put it plain and simple, this here is a Tanya Fajon, this thing here. She's a Slovenian foreign minister. And then this guy here is Robert Golob. This one here, this is a Slovenian prime minister. And this one here is a Milan Kučan. Oh, he's got some more stories he will tell you. This man right here, and this one here is Putin, and this one here is Borut Pahor. And I am sure you already know how Princess Anne looks like. It's a Princess Anne, and then you have a Prince Charles, you have a Prince Charles, and you have a Prince Andrew. You have this, you also have, it's a royal, chic company. To put it plain and simple, very bad news for the British, because your royals beginning fourth and fifth grade of the grammar school. Fourth and fifth grade of the grammar school. This was in 1982, let's say 1983. Promoted earlier, right? Actually, 1982. Promoted the people that I demonstrated you. at United Nations through as firm genocide as genocide can be against the child, as anything can be in this world. Literally were using me through Italian psychiatric system, for which they did get the statements based on the torture they engaged in against me. I told them, they suggested me they will do the same thing to their political prisoners as to what is done to me in Slovenia. And I cheered that. I said, yes, yes, fucking do it. Get them, whatever you're going to do with them. Once they obtained the statements, it was the same technology as for the Apple founder, Steve Jobs, or for the September 11 of 2001. Exactly everything the same technology, the same shit. You get the statements. Once you get the statements, once they get your obligation, there's nothing sweeter than obligation from somebody that is tortured, drugged up, to give this kind of statements. Obviously, I gave these statements to the CIA, to the British MI5, which is the same thing. They proceeded to present the Yugoslav people, such as those that I demonstrated you, beginning with this guy here, as a human rights activists. Your British royals did. Princess Anne, Prince Charles, Prince Andrew, Prince Edward, etc., etc. Every fucking royal started to advocate genocide against me through the psychiatric institutionalization, killing of people, what they refer to as the political prisoners, straight through United Nations. Your British royals did open the doors to the Rosie Young, Robert Golob, Borut Pahor. You look so serious all of a sudden. What's the matter? What happened? By literally delivering me for torture to the Italy, where they started to post as a human rights activists, thanks to the British royals. This is a warning to United Nations. I'm going to find out who you had in United Nations, beginning the earliest, because there is no reason for the child in a 4th grade of the grammar school, 3rd grade of the grammar school, to be tortured inside of the psychiatric institutions and being accused of being evil. Especially this child was subject to the bestial torture procedures since his earliest childhood, as was my case. There's no reason for that. You got no right at the United Nations to advocate those that and promote those that do harm to the children, like you did. Because I had United Nations commissioners, all the executive from United Nations praising this man here and this man here and her for a diligence, not only diligent work, but for the sacrifice they have invested in saving the so-called political prisoners through my case. United Nations served British royals, Belgrade, to Putin, Washington, D.C., let's put it, Ribbentrop-Molotov. Not only for the extermination of me, not only for genocide against me, yes, but to portray the killers, the murderers, the beasts, is in fact beneficial to United Nations. As somebody who acted through my case with ability to save lives of other people. So this is how far the crime of United Nations goes directly through the Buckingham Palace against me. This is how early, since my earliest childhood. That's how much Italy is also implicated in this stuff here. I didn't tell the whole story about this Josip Broz Tito in Italy, which about the Trieste. This one is about the Trieste, and I did explain to you about what went on also in other parts of Italy. Yeah, very, very, very important witnessing here. I will never ever forget, ever will I forget, when this girl demanded from me to become a rescuer of what they refer to as prisoners of conscience, political prisoners in the Western system. Therefore, they promoted a Soviet Union, Yugoslav indoctrination, talking about the British royals here, just so they could get rid of me during my childhood. There was Tanya Fajon, there was this guy here, Pahor is his name, Robert Golob, who demanded from me to become a human rights advocate through the torture. And it did not stop there. It went directly, the stuff that I stated, through not only approval, but the highest recommendation of the United Nations commissioners, executives, thanks to the British royals, who cheered Robert Golob personally, Tanya Fajon personally. Tanya Fajon is younger generation than Robert Golob and Borut Pahor, younger generation, for advocating saving lives in the background of it all. Tanya Fajon, the first one who did this stuff was Borut Pahor, who insisted to me during Yugoslavia, yeah, just as I explained, that I have to become a human rights advocate. I would say even Tito's Yugoslavia. This shit goes even earlier into it. That I have to save lives. That I have to save lives. And insisted that for his degree, for his university degree later, he insisted that he had to do, not later, but already in a high school, that to get it done, that he had to write the entire life of the prisoner on a paper and submit this to United Nations, get this approved through the Communist Party Yugoslavia. This shit they started in Josip Broz Tito, Yugoslavia already. Yes, and that's how he gets the scores then to be seen as a reputable member of Yugoslav community. And the same thing was with the Robert Golob. They started to demand from me to do a master's degree on criminals they encountered, locked inside of the psychiatric systems. He literally used them for torture purposes and demanded from me to do, during MK Ultra, they molest me, that I have to express interest in their lives and do the whole what their rights were violated, but who these people were and where these people were from and so on, and why they were locked inside and there and so on and so forth. This is how this stuff went, with what became claims of the Princess Anne in my face even, and not only Charles and Andrew, how these young Slovenian people are so talented and I'm so worthless. Claims which clearly gestured that Tanya Fajon saved. Tanya Fajon insisted me that she saved I don't know how many people from this. And the best part about it is the people from United Nations humiliated me in front of Tanya Fajon, in front of Borut Pahor. Borut Pahor was her mentor on how to do the stuff. Tanya Fajon already in the 8th grade of the grammar school, 7th grade of the grammar school, saved adult prisoners from the foreign institutions. This is how they wanted me to see this whole thing is. No, this is more than driving somebody insane. I was a child, you were adults, you were not a children. Tanya Fajon, Borut Pahor will explain how many people, just how many people they saved together with Robert Golob as a children from foreign institutions, the Western institutions, Western neo-Nazi institutions. Italian side definitely did not do me a favor with this kind of stuff by getting me involved into the psychiatric Italian psychiatric system to accent my being completely worthless human being, evil basically. With what they also orchestrated is if they would follow my stuff, yes, of course, the more you get beaten up, right, the worse person you are. So this kind of system doesn't work for me. Advocating real criminals killing children is not going to go lightly down with me. So your British royals have committed a lot of bad stuff, and it's time for me also, as soon as this goes through, learn absolutely about every United Nations representative beginning 1972. Because this is how deeply United Nations was embedded in this crime. Literally through the British royals, they get this kind of prestigious, through Italy to do the stuff, through the Italian system, through the Italian government system to do the stuff like this in Italy, through the Italian psychiatric system. This is not good. You can imagine that somebody that you bring from another country in another country and you sicken person like that badly. No. I can be really nothing but proud about myself that I managed to survive this. You are just, as a people, you're really low lives. She saved I don't know how many people, and she got thanks from UN representatives right in front of me for saving people. No, that's fucked up. I don't think she saved fucking shit in her life. I don't think that in this world there was nothing other than dreck left behind her, and the same go for her mentor, Borut Pahor, Robert Golob. You know, a big mentor, Milan Kučan. People can see today their testimony in Ukraine, and they were able to see one in Chechnya and other parts of the world where they exercise this Ribbentrop-Molotov. I don't know what's going to happen in Ukraine, but it doesn't look like good for Ukraine, does it? I mean, it looks like they're going to fuck Ukraine too. It looks Ukraine is down, very, very down. Maybe a miracle is going to take place, who knows? So that's how far British royals have gone through this stuff. Through to literally command to give to honor Tanya Fajon in my face through United Nations representatives themselves directly, as Princess Anne did, Prince Charles and Prince Andrew did, using also UN representative to convince me what a shit of a human being I was already as a child. So we gotta put this. This was one of the biggest things that made impression on me when it comes to United Nations. The character they were creating, the way they carved their masterpiece through this so-called MK Ultra, which is nothing but unimaginable, unlimited degree and amount of violence. It's fucking incredible. So I know that Charlie is not very happy with this stuff, because this thing somehow, as he balaboodled during MK Ultra, Charles balaboodled all the time about how at one point in time I'm gonna cross his whatever and he will destroy me and this and that. It just somehow doesn't match. It did not match to it. He's delusional. Charles is very, very delusional. He's insane, actually, because he's the so-called royal. Yeah, he believes that his crime is law, and in this place here, his crime is not a law, but it's illegal. It is criminal, and will be fought, just like the Germans were fought on the beaches of the Normandy, on every step of the way, all the way. Better that than any kind of pact or anything. The most that he's going to accomplish is, next to the damage he already created, basically, maximum that he can do is get me somehow killed, and that's about all there is, including through the health, which they deteriorated so much. But that's all there is to it. But other than that, it's not. Your king is your piece of shit, and the whole world knows it. You British do not change, not even a fucking bit, since your colonial times. And the only thing you do is you're waiting for another opportunity to come by so that you can ride again the wave. You didn't change, not even a fucking bit. Now I can say that I finished this video about this, because this brings the memory about Italy, about what the fuck went on with your Italian politicians, also in respect to Josip Broz Tito and his Yugoslav elite, about this Slovenian elite that inherited Josip Broz Tito in this new Yugoslavia that you refer to one as Slovenia, because this is Yugo shit, the same one as it was. Now we are okay with this. She was demonstrating me pages, a book, how 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, how she wrote a whole thesis on the prisoner, on the political prisoner, saving the prisoner, etc., etc. She was just giving me the whole, demonstrating the pages. Milan Kučan cursed me out, that I'm of no good, etc., etc. With this kind of circumstances, it's very, very bad. Very bad to do stuff like this to children, to treat children like this. I mean, this is like huge degree of sickening, you know. Very, very bad stuff, you know. Brainwash, I mean, talking about Italians, talking about the Germans, talking about the British, talking about the Dutch, on how, I don't know, they had Tito, they had I don't know what they had, and you had me. So basically, in my mind during MK Ultra, in mind of the brainwashed child, placing me on to the stars, like, wow, you know, you're gonna tell all this, don't worry about it. You know, not good, not a good stuff, not a good stuff here, but very important for people to know how they do this to people, how they destroy, how they burn people. The more torture, the more suffering, the more pathos, the more people are prone to believe that they are something special, that they are something, you know, that they will whatever they will, etc., etc. Luckily, I'm not one of those. I was in it. I tried to help, but this stuff is just the way they wanted me to keep silent and disappear, go basically into the night without even saying who did what did, in such a beautiful way, so elegant, with Charles surrounding himself with black minorities, ex-British colonized world, all kinds of people that you wouldn't even see one for what it was or what they are, and on the other side pointing me as ultimate evil. This isn't going to work. No. Directly promoted through the schizophrenia, through the shiza, because I don't know if the people of the United Nations are so fucking insane or corrupt. It's difficult to determine. For you fucking scum have seen killers, murderers as the saviors of the people. You gotta be either fucking schizophrenic, or you gotta be totally corrupt. But this is exactly the way it was. It made me feel like a shit, and it made Tanya Fajon feel like a queen. It made Pahor feel like a queen. It made Milan Kučan feel like a queen. Maybe even was a strategy at the time to get them involved in your world of affairs. But you have to admit that your strategy involved the genocide against me for no less than 48 years, or till the damage was irreparable, health damage. And you sent me off to hell, basically to talk to myself and to whatever you have done to me. So I want to know how many did she save. I want to know how at United Nations this creature, this beast, was and is seen as. I want to meet you fuckers who started to build her credentials based on a total schizophrenia or corruption. And I think corruption is more likely. Is there a difference between the corruption and schizophrenia? Probably in case of United Nations, people at the United Nations is not. You are beyond fucking insane. Criminally insane. Scum.